Okay. So, assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you for joining us today with our session today for ECCC Talks. Today, we're really lucky to say that we have a special figure, I'd say, in her area. Her name is Nadia Hassen. She is a certified teen life and leadership coach. She's an entrepreneur, she's a mother, and a Girl Scouts leader, and she has an MBA in public health. She's developed and conducted teen and young adult leadership workshops online. She's been doing volunteer work in her community for about 9 years as a Girl Scout leader, and she is also a coordinator. And her, I guess, her role has been to empower the younger generation by mentoring, educating, and inspiring teens and young adults to try new things and take on challenges. So I'm really excited to have this conversation with Nadia Hassen, and I hope everyone else tunes in and stays for the entire conversation because we do have quite a few interesting things coming up, inshallah. So, Nadia Hassen, I will stop talking now and say, could you give us a little more detail about yourself and whatever else you'd like to share with us about you?
Okay, inshallah, jazakallah khair. Thank you, Hana. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me introduce myself. This is me, Nadia Hassen. I'm a mom for 3 children. I'm a Girl Scout leader. I'm an entrepreneur, a life coach, specifically teen life coach, and leadership coach. So I have my master's degree in business administration. My major is in public health, and but I changed my major, I can say, to this beautiful field that I discovered and found out that this is one of my passion, alhamdulillah, and I went for it because I saw the needs in my community, especially that I've been volunteering for a long time, and I have my children's program, I can say Girl Scout program, and this gave me a picture of the needs that we have in the community. So yeah, this is a short introduction about me. And thank you so much. I would like to thank you for having me this chance. Alhamdulillah, jazakumullah khairan, to be exposed to the community and to know more about it. Alhamdulillah, jazakumullah khairan.
Likewise, I think we are also quite lucky to be able to expose our community as well to the type of work that you do, and inshallah we'll definitely dive a little bit deeper into that. Now, you had mentioned that you are a life and leadership coach, more specifically with teens. Can you maybe provide us a little more detail about what that involves, whether that's your day-to-day or maybe even just what the journey was like that got you to there?
Okay. As I told you, when I started, I started the kids program or the Girl Scout program. The reason for that was for my children. I went to the mosque and I said, okay, there is no specific program and educational and fun program at the same time. So I decided that I'll go for it. It was kind of challenging for me because I have to go to training and I don't know what's the next step is going to be. But alhamdulillah, I found the support from the community right away because they needed something like this. So alhamdulillah, I went for the training and I got right away the people who supported me in the program. And as you can see, this is the 10th year since I started the program. Alhamdulillah, it was very successful and still it is. So just to talk about life coach, I know this is a new concept. A lot of people, they are not familiar with this word. So I can say, for example, a therapist, Hana, when a therapist, they go deep into your problem. They try to find out what is the cause of your problem. So, but for us, or for me, for example, as a life coach, what I do is I help teens to go from where they are to where they want to be. I don't go back like the therapist, but I touch their problem, and I try to help them with their problem, but I take them from where they are to where they want to be. I help them create a purpose for their life, a vision, goals, and help them solve problems all the way. So it's practical. Practically, I mean, I help them solve their problem, and it can be building skills or solving problems. Like what I do now, I work on two basic areas: self-development and leadership. And this is what they need, our youth. Basically, this is what they need, and this is why I decided I'm gonna focus on these on this age, I can say. So alhamdulillah, this is what I do. And as you said, I do a lot of workshops. I do it on Zoom, and I do it in person. So yeah, and inshallah, I'm starting a lot with different organizations. And inshallah, I'm going to start different programs. The same for, it's all about self-development and leadership.
Okay, mashallah, that sounds really interesting. I think that it's such a unique space to work in. More often than not, when we think of life coaches, we think of adults, right? We think of people that are trying to navigate the adult world, but it's interesting to see that that's the type of work that can be done at an earlier stage in life as well. So that's really amazing. When, you know, from your experience working with teens, as you described, what sort of, I mean, this question is mainly looking at the types of issues that parents may or may not face in this day and age, and you know, what is it that you would suggest or recommend in terms of the types of parenting methods that can potentially be implemented prior to the teen phase and even during the teen phase, namely because, you know, so much has changed, you know, from generation to generation. I think in particular in our generation, we've seen that there's been a very large shift in the way that things were with the digital age coming in to play. So there is a gray area in terms of experience and you know, navigating a world that parents may or may not themselves be familiar with. So what do you, I mean, you can give us maybe just a little bit of a tidbit. What are the best methods?
Okay, for parenting, I can say method or parenting style, we have, let me say, basically we have the traditional parenting method and we have the conscious, the new method. And this is what I'm trying to follow as a mom. So the traditional one is my child has to obey me. My child has to comply with my beliefs. I am the one who's powerful. I am in control. I know better than my child. This is the basic, I mean, not I can say basic, this is what I think about it as a traditional parenting. But the conscious parenting is to focus, or let me say it in a different way, it's to raise yourself before you raise your child. It's to focus on yourself before you focus on your child. So I am going to love my child. Oh, first of all, I'm going to have no expectation from my child while I'm raising my child, because I know my child is going through a lot at this stage, okay? I'm going to love my child, whether my child is angry, whether my child is mad, whether they're hyper, whether they are disrespectful. When I say this, see, if you understand what is your child going through, even if your child is going to be disrespectful to you, you are going to know that this is a reaction, because for every behavior, there is a reason. So if I see it this way, am I going to get mad? I'm not going to get mad, because I know that my child is going through pain. My child is going through difficulty, and he needs help, or she needs help. Okay, so this is the idea of this is how I look at it, as a conscious parenting. And this is, I think, for me, what we need to follow, especially nowadays with our children. So as I told you, every behavior has a reaction to it. So when you follow a conscious parenting, for example, if my child is disrespecting me, If I am following the traditional parenting, I'm really going to get mad. I can punish my child. But if I'm following the conscious parenting, if I'm aware of my child is going through, I'm going to leave my child. I'm going to come after, let's say, 30 minutes or after sometimes, and I'm going to talk to my child and say, you know what, today I think you are going through some difficulty. This is why you were kind of disrespectful, but I understand that. Then your child is going to say sorry right away because they didn't mean it. I'm not going to put myself in a situation, I'm going to fight with my child. You know what? What we do usually, that we take it personal. And this is the big problem. It's a big problem. This is what we do usually. We right away take it personal and say, okay, my child is not disrespecting me, and I start to overreact. And this creates more and more gap between me and my child. So in general, this is the parenting method. I feel that's the best way to deal with our children, to be conscious and to be aware of the way you talk to your child, to focus on yourself, to ask yourself questions before you talk to your child, before you approach your child.
That's a really interesting approach, and I think that's worthwhile. And in any sort of relationship, it's important to always work on yourself first, right, and understand yourself so that then you can better understand your child, right?
Yeah.
And I really like how you said, raise yourself before you raise your child, right? Because you are then setting that example.
I know some parents, maybe they will not like it.
Yeah.
But in general, it's the way how we see it, and it's your choice. This is what I think. So,
Yeah.
inshallah, bidnillah, I hope some parents will be able to think about it and to realize, what they are doing on how they are reacting with their children.
Yeah, absolutely. Even a moment of some sort of self-reflection, I can see that being super valuable to find that, or to find those answers, right?
Yeah.
So, when it comes to, I guess, considering how to look at ourselves, what would you say, maybe giving us a little bit more of a, because you work directly with teens, giving us a more closer look at what teens may go through. What is I guess the top challenge, or the number one issue that you've seen teens face, and that you've maybe had to coach them through or deal with, just so that as parents, to those that are listening, they may take away something, or maybe take that to consider, or consider it to be a starting point when they're interacting with their child differently.
Yeah, actually, one of the main challenge I can say that I see it maybe 99%. Well, I can say 100%. It's low self-esteem. It varies usually for all of us. Sometimes we'll have low self-esteem, but for young generation, I notice that they always have problem with self-esteem. As you know now, social media and the beauty standard they build, there are a lot of things that can affect, this their self-esteem. So maybe I am always angry with my child. This is going to contribute to it. Maybe they are going to face some abuse, any kind of abuse, or maybe they can't fit in their school. They have problem with their friends, or maybe some disapproval from authority or disapproval from their teacher, because sometimes teacher can have, especially teachers, they are like parents. So if they have problems with their teacher, it can cause them really, it can cause that their self-esteem is gonna really be affected by that. So this is one of the main challenges I see with our young generation. So they start to build negative core beliefs about themselves, and then they will have low self-esteem. So this is the main challenge I see with our young generation. So we always try to encourage them and work on this point. I like to expose them to community event and volunteering and dealing with other people, because this is going to boost their confidence and self-esteem. So we work on different things with them.
Okay, so when you say self-esteem, how would you suggest that a parent go about managing that? So what are some things that maybe they can watch for if it's not something that is communicated in the relationship? For example, are there maybe signs that a parent can watch for, or anything along those lines?
There you will see their it's connected to their self-confidence. You are going to feel it. You are going to know that your child has problem with their self-esteem. They are going to be kind of shy. They are not going to look at your eye, and they are going to have, sometimes they will not be able to present themselves in the way they need to. There are a lot of signs, but you know what, as parents, we should be really very careful. We should always, no matter what happens, we should try to encourage them. We should try to make them feel good about themselves, because they are not feeling good about themselves. And this will cause them that their self-confidence also will go low. So we just have to be nice, and we have to accept them the way they are. I don't have to put pressure on them, because sometimes a lot of times, actually, their self-esteem is going to go low because of parents, number one. Because we always have expectation. We put a lot of pressure on them. We ask them to do things the way we see it. We think that, oh, so what they think about themselves, that my mom, she doesn't like me. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No worries. That happens.
Okay. So,
Okay.
So what they think is that right away they're going to think, oh, my mom, she doesn't trust me. My mom, she doesn't like me. My mom, she always thinks that I can't do this. I'm not capable of doing this. I can't make her happy. And this is always going to contribute to their low self-confidence. So we just have to be careful in the way we talk to them. And we should really respect them, show them respect before anything.
That's very valuable, I think, to consider. And you express that, communicating that to them and letting them know that you care for them, or that you respect them, or even just having those conversations are valuable, so that they know, right, that you're kind of there for them.
They are smart,
Now,
actually, and they feel it. Believe me, they feel it. If you are stressed, if you are expecting something from them, they will feel it right away. So they always tell to themselves, am I making my mom? I'm disappointing my mom. I'm not making her feel happy. And this is really, really dangerous, because once they have this feeling, they're going to take it with them for the rest of their life. So we really have to just be careful in the way we talk to our children.
so, going off of the idea of talking to them and communicating with them, there's parents typically say things like, when a child enters the teen phase, that they're not really talking as much anymore. It's one word answers, or it's shortened. But what is a piece of advice that you would give to a parent that might be having a challenge building that, like, a close and trusting relationship with their child during the teen phase, and being able to have that open line of communication at all times?
Yeah, if they don't have good communication with them, yeah. Yes. And at this point, I think most of us, we go through this. So you have to understand that your child doesn't trust you. They started, they want to stay away from you. They don't trust you. They don't want to hear anything from you, because you disconnected from them. You're disconnecting from them, and this is really not good. So what I need to do is, as a mom, is I have to work on myself. I have to realize that this is the time for me to change, because I can't be raising my child for a couple of years. I'm doing the same thing, talking the same way. No, as parent also, you have to raise yourself and work on your self-development the same way you are going to work on your child. So what you need to do when you see this disconnection between you and your child, you have to start to give them their own time and space. Leave them for some times, because as I told you, they can have they are not trusting you maybe anymore. So what you do is you give them time. You ask them for permission to talk. For example, for my daughter, I can tell her, what, please tell me whenever you think it's good time for you, so we can talk. I know now, maybe you don't want to talk, but tell me. You just leave her. When the time she is going to decide and tell you, okay, we can talk now, you can do that. Think about your intention before you come approach your child. What's your intention? Is it that you just want to control, you just want to put your anger on your child, or you want to solve problem? Do you want you really to help your child? So your approach shouldn't be, in a way that it should go with your intention. Your approach, you have to be really very, very careful. As I said, you can ask permission before you talk to them. You have to talk less because they are tired of you talking. So talking less that is a skill, by the way, we have to build as parents, because sometimes we talk too much unnecessarily. And our children, by the way, they get tired of us. It's not us we get tired of them. They are getting tired of us. I really feel bad sometimes when I see some families and their relationship with their children. So the other thing also, don't judge your child. Sometimes before we talk to them, we already have the conclusion for what they're going to say. We already talking to them as if they are going to behave in certain ways. We don't give them chance. We don't listen to them. We don't have empathy. So we have to put ourselves in their place. We have to listen to them and show them that we really respect them. So in this way, slowly, we are going to be able to build that trust again with them, inshallah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think building that trust is definitely important. But I do wonder, it seems like there's a fine line that's towed there, because more often than not, some of the questions that some people tend to ask is, how do you build a relationship where you are guiding your child but also maintaining some level of friendship? How do you do that without compromising the parenting role and still being able to be friendly, and being on good terms?
Okay, for me as a mom, I think I will never be able to be my child's friend, to tell you the truth. I can't be my child's friend, because I can be friendly with my child. I can have some fun with my child, go outside with them, spend really good quality time with them. But I'm not going to be, let's tell the reality is, I'm not going to be friends with my child, because there are times that I have to set regulations. I have to set rules. I have to protect them, and I have to decide sometimes things that they will not like. So this is the reason that you are not going to be their friend. But as I told you, try to be friendly as much as you can, make them feel comfortable, because they are going to share a lot of things with you. But you know what? To reach that level and be friend, for me, I don't see that, because I'm going to be having boundaries, and a lot of regulations and stuff like that. Still, we are parents.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I hear you on that. That's definitely fair, and I think that I appreciate that. I think sometimes we need to hear that. Parents do definitely need to hear that sort of advice. But shifting gears a little bit, I know you had mentioned that you have been working with the Girl Scout. You've been a Girl Scout leader for about 9 years, and that kind of makes me think of the idea of having kids be involved with extracurricular activities, and that sort of path for kids, especially after school activities. But as you know, there's so many options, right? And even on top of those options, then you have to figure out what your child may actually enjoy and what they might actually follow through with, or what sort of directions to put them in. So when it comes to choosing those extracurricular activities for teens, how does one decide? What do we prioritize? Which elements? Is it sports? Is it arts or community work? And even then, when should they start? And what's the importance of extracurricular activities? It's a loaded question, but you can kind of throw it in any direction.
Yeah, this is actually what I do in my Girl Scout program, in my leadership program, and self-development also. Basically, this is what I do. It's kind of challenging sometimes, because you have to create things from nothing, but at the same time, it's a broad concept. So there are two things that I have to focus on when I think about the extracurricular activities. It's their interest and age. It has to be age appropriate, and you have to also look at their interest. For example, for young people, for children, let me say, it's good to expose them to a lot of different kinds of activities like sport, museum, art, swimming, photography, a lot of things, as much as you can. Because at this stage, they are discovering themselves and what they like. Once you spot what they like, you keep on pushing for that, because it can be the seeds they have that God created in them, their talent. Because, by the way, we all have talent, but we need to get exposed to a lot of things so we will discover this talent. We just have signs. So when you see these signs from your children that they like art, okay, they like art, so keep on working on that, and you will see that they're going to be better than others in that field, because this is giving you sign that it can be one of their passion. Okay, so for adolescents, it's kind of interesting and challenging, because there are different stages. It goes from 12 to 14 years old, from 15 to 17 years old, and from 18 to 21 years old. So during these three stages, first of all, the first stage, they go through puberty. They go through hormone changes. They have intense emotions. See, once you know these things about the age that you're taking care of, you will be having an idea of what to do. They like their friend a lot at this age. Relationship for them is really important. So I will focus on that, okay? They crave to have place in the world. They want to stay away from family. They want to do something, to prove that they know everything. They are discovering themselves, basically. Okay, and one thing also, that their brain doesn't develop until they are 20 years old. So you have to put this in your mind too. So now I know some things about them at this age. So for example, community involvement, and this is what I do, and this is what I always suggest for teenagers. Community, not event also I can say, but community involvement, volunteerism, it's one of the best things you can expose them to. But again, it has to be, you can't bring them to the community and say, okay, go pick up the chairs or go do this. No, you have to show them that you care about them and ask them, what is the thing you like to do? And then assign them something to do related or at least close to what they like. And this is the way how they are going to shine in front of you. Okay, so community involvement and volunteerism is going to help them with their identity. Why? Because of belonging, identity, who they are, the group they are going to feel belong to, because relationship for them is very important. They are going to have healthy relationship in their community, and this is a good chance for them to get exposed and see role models too. It's really important to have role models in the community, because we are going to teach them by being role models. They are going to see, they are going to start to notice a lot of things and learn. Okay, so we said also they're going to build a lot of skills by getting involved in their community. Leadership skills, they are going to learn communication skills, they are going to improve their relationship. They are going to boost also their self-confidence. And then their self-esteem is going to go high. And this is really something good for our children, because this all is going to affect them, and they are going to take it with them for the rest of their life. Okay, so they are going to learn empathy, they are going to learn compassion, because they are helping other people. So you can't imagine how much they are going to learn from just getting involved in community events. So yeah, it's really important. And this is going to help them, as I told you, with their self-development. It's going to help them because they are trying to discover who they are. At this stage, the best place is going to be to have a community for them, like a Muslim community or their community or a masjid, or, you just expose them to these places, inshallah. And it can have a lot of, what can I say, positive effects on them, inshallah.
Inshallah. I really like how you said that you have to always ask them what they would like to do, because then that gives them a bit that gives them, you know, even more control over the things that they get to do as opposed to being told. And I think sometimes that takes away the enjoyment aspect, and you ultimately want them to enjoy it, right? And it in the end all ties back to self-esteem, which you earlier had said that that's one of the main issues that you've seen with teens and them experiencing lower self-esteem. So that's I think that's crucial, and I like how, you know, everything kind of ties together. So I appreciate you for putting that into perspective for us.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Actually, I want to say one thing. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Thank you. I want to add one more thing, actually. For me, seeing a lot of young people, working with a lot of young people in my community, because we help them, we teach them, they are members in Girl Scout, and then we let them lead and be leaders. So you can't imagine how happy they are, and when they take the leadership role. So subhanallah, when you see them coming back and you see their energy, their positive energy, because we always try to push them and to put them on the spot, to give them opportunities, to encourage them. So I can see a lot of changes in front of my eyes, subhanallah. So yeah, this is a really good thing to expose your child to.
Yeah, no, that's a beautiful thing to definitely also witness, right before your eyes. I do have one more question for you before we wrap up, but I do value your time, so I'll let that one question be that you know, we've touched quite a bit on the teen experience and what they go through, and I guess what the best way is for the parent to manage. But it's always been said that parenting is one of those few roles that you learn to do on the job, right? You figure it out when you're in it, right? And it's day to day. It's just constantly learning, right? So how is one meant to manage those hurdles and ultimately build their self-confidence as a parent? And you know, that self-confidence can obviously exist in many ways. So that can be the self-confidence to make mistakes on this journey, or to remember that the parent is also growing as a person in their role as a parent, but also in their roles outside of being a parent. And how do they manage all of that alongside their child as well?
Beautiful question. Actually, parenting is one of the hardest job in the world. But subhanallah, even though it's hard and we know that, we don't prepare for it. Usually, no one prepare for it. So even though we know it's hard, when you go to any job interview, we have to prepare to your best. But why not? And you are raising generations. So this is the mistake most of us do. So in order for you to be to do good in parenting as much as you can, first of all, I want to say there are some. I have to ask myself as a mom: is there anything then that if I want to do good in my parenting, as I told you, the conscious parenting is to know more about yourself. You are going to help your child to discover themselves. You have to help yourself to discover. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. Thank you. So you are helping your child to, the challenging part is I'm helping my child to discover themselves. At the same time, I'm gonna try to discover myself and know more about me. Sometimes we had a lot of baggages that we brought from our childhood, unhealed wound that we brought with us. I'm so sorry. I think I'm receiving calls, so I keep on interrupting. Okay. So yeah. So I try to, what I was saying, discovering yourself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I have to ask myself, is there anything that I'm struggling with? Because, by the way, anything that I'm feeling, anything that I'm struggling with, I'm going to take it out on my children. It's going to affect my relationship with my child, with my spouse, with other people. It's going to affect my decision taking. So it's going to affect me in a different way in my life. So what I'm going to do, as we said, in conscious parenting, I'm going to work on myself as a mom. So I don't know if you heard about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Maslow theory. It talks about the basic needs for human being. For example, we need safety. We need the first one comes the physiological need. We need food, shelter, and then we need safety. After safety comes, we need love. We need self-esteem. The last one is self-actualization. So what he says, a psychologist, and what he said is it's a beautiful thing that if we have, or if we struggle in any of them, or if we couldn't satisfy our needs in any of these stages, it's going to cause us a problem in the long run in our life. So as a mom, I can go back and see, okay, what is the thing that I'm struggling with? What's the baggage I'm carrying with me? Did I go for my passion, or I buried my passion one day and now I'm feeling emptiness? I don't feel happy. Did I how's my self-concept? Because there are events in your life, big events in your life that's going to affect you and your self-concept. I have to ask myself, what's going on with me? What's the wrong thing I'm doing? Why I'm getting...
I just start recording. Okay, go ahead. Okay, yeah, go ahead. So, we're just going to carry on with the question about parenting and how one can manage or learn to be more self-confident or manage their self-confidence in that role.
Yeah, so as I said, by knowing more about yourself, by trying to discover yourself, you are going to try to improve to some extent. And subhanAllah, it starts with awareness. The first step to change always is awareness. Actually, it's 50%. You are going all 50% if you start to be aware of yourself, because before you do anything, you're going to ask yourself a lot of questions. Basically, being aware is asking yourself a lot of questions before you start reacting or behaving in any way. So before I come to my child, I'm going to ask myself, okay, what is it that I want from my child? Before I punish my child, I'm going to ask myself why I have to punish my child. Is there someone who's going to punish me if I do a mistake? Okay, then I have to learn to forgive my child. I have to learn to find different ways. And subhanAllah, Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, he never punished. He never punished Anas ibn Malik, for example. He was so kind, and I don't know, for me now, I don't see this punishment is valid because it doesn't have really positive outcome for the long run. So in general, as I told you, we have to watch our way, and as a mom, I have to really be aware and open my heart and think that, okay, I'm raising my child, and what is it that I want for my child and for myself? So, yeah.
So it sounds like, I just, listening to you talk about that, it sounds like there's definitely a step-by-step method or a process, right, to kind of approaching your child and also approaching yourself, right, when you're working on yourself and doing a lot of self-improvement. How would you suggest that someone, builds that sort of mind map or that process for approaching their child? Is it just a matter of trial and error, or is it just, maybe even writing it down? Like, are there practices or smaller practices that you would suggest a person incorporate into their day to build on that and work towards that?
Yeah, the main thing, you have to give time for yourself and see how you want to do it. Once you start to be aware, you will be able to focus. And now, okay, I'm focusing on myself. What are the things I want for myself? Let me try to heal myself from inside. It's basically healing yourself. How you are going to heal yourself? Educate yourself. Nowadays, you have no excuse. You have to educate yourself as mom and as dad also before you approach or while you are raising your child. It's never too late. It's never too late, but at least try to learn different methods, new ways. And as I told you, for me, once something happened with my daughter, I was pushing them a lot before a couple of years to do volunteer work, to do a lot of things. And then one day my child or my daughter, she told me, Mom, by the way, we are doing it for you. We don't like to volunteer. And I said, that moment, it hit me. And I said, you know what? I started to be aware from that moment, alhamdulillah. And I told my daughter, you know what? From now on, I'm not going to push you to do anything. Do whatever you think good for yourself, because this is your journey. This is your life. It's not my life. And since I started to see it this way, wallahi, subhanallah, even me now, I'm enjoying it more with my child. I'm not getting mad like before. Even if they say something, or if I felt there is any kind of disrespecting, I feel bad for them, because I say, okay, they are going through pain. They're going through something. So I started to educate myself and learn different ways. I started to see myself, okay, why do I get mad? What about my passion? What about my purpose? Do I have purpose in my life? I started to see everything the same way I see it for my child. This is basically what you need to do. So you can do it in any way you want. But the main thing, as I told you, start with being aware and accept that you need to change.
Yeah, mashallah, that's beautiful. That all ties into the idea that you initially started with of raising yourself to be able to raise your child, and that you're ultimately growing alongside your children, right? So
Exactly.
that's
Still, I'm working on myself and I'm going through the journey with them. But I
exactly, and
hope parents will not get mad and because
no,
it's all about us today.
no, I think it's a valuable lesson, and I think all of the things that you're mentioning do drive point that that it's a journey, right? It's not a destination.
Yes.
You don't become a parent and then just that's it, right? You're constantly evolving parent, and you're constantly learning. So and that's true for any role, right? Whether it's in the workplace or whether it's in your friendships or in your family life or whatever the case may be. So I think that's everything that you said has been truly valuable and definitely eye-opening
I hope so,
to hear.
inshallah.
So I'm definitely very, very grateful to be able to have this conversation with you and to get all this
Jazakallah
insight
khair.
from you. Um, you know, and I'm sure that the people that are listening to this will also want to know to be able to get in touch with you. You mentioned that you do run these workshops as well. What are the avenues that a person may use to get in touch with you or to access those workshops?
Yeah, you can access my website, Enlightening Dreams. And inshallah, soon I'm going to put I have the application there, and you can have any questions you want about any course, self-development or leadership, because I do small workshops, and it can be a full course about self-development or leadership. And and it's very flexible. It can be for a group to solve a problem, or it can be individual. So it's very flexible. And as I told you, you can go to my website and see and have more information. You can send me email and connect with me through that. And even in Facebook, for example, they can, through Messenger, a lot of people, they ask me questions and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's okay, good. So, would Instagram also be an option of reaching out to you as well?
I'm sorry?
Would Instagram also be an option of reaching out, or do you
Yes,
prefer?
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I need to
Perfect.
be more active in Instagram, but still, yeah, it's an option, of course.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
just in case, but the methods that you mentioned earlier are probably the more preferred routes to get a more direct access to you as well.
Yeah.
Do are there any last thoughts or any upcoming projects or events that you'd like to share with us before we do sign off for the day?
That can be related to your community or something like that, as I told you. Oh, okay. No, actually, I'm going to work with different organizations now. We are starting a different program in the same field, like in self-development and But as I told you, my program is it's going to be customized according to the need of the community, of anyone who wants to have sessions. For example, maybe someone will say, okay, my child has problem with self-esteem, so maybe they need 3-4 sessions to work with them, so I can work with them individually on Zoom or things like that.
Okay, perfect. I'm really glad to hear, and I think that will be a very valuable resource to have in the community and
Thank you.
honest, in the world in general. So you are definitely making a big change, and I appreciate all the work that you've done and that you will continue to do. And I also appreciate the time that you've put in. So jazakallah khairan for taking the time to speak with us and to talk to us about all of these issues that I think people recognize but don't, maybe not necessarily address. And you've given us so many key points on how to address them as well. So jazakallah khairan again, and I appreciate your time. And you know what? I hope we get to have more conversations in the future, inshallah, as time moves forward. But yeah, no, it's been great, and ECC is thankful for having you. So
thank you so much, Hannah. I appreciate it, and I'm so happy to be here with you today. And I would like to thank Brother Abdul Qadir. I know he's representing all of you, mashallah. He did amazing, barakallah fi. And thank you so much for all of you. And I'm looking forward, to have more sessions to educate parents in your community, because it's an honor for me, really. And this is one of my goal. I can say that I really want to educate parents as much as I can, because we need a little push, and we need to educate ourselves. And as you said, sometimes we don't realize it. But when you hear this from someone, one word can help you change and think back of what you're doing. So inshallah, bidnillah, with our good intention, we will try to create changes in our community. At least we can start with that. Barakallahu people. Thank you so much.
All right, then have a lovely day, inshallah. Okay.
Thanks. You too. Thank you. Alaikum salam.